Researchers at FireEye say Kremlin-backed hacking operations are attempting to target governments, media, and political parties as elections approach in Europe. Danny Palmer covers a great deal of cybersecurity-related stories for us here at ZDNet. Danny, just start first with the information that's coming out. It's very concerning.
Yeah, it is. As you say, the researchers at FireEye have come up with an alert today suggesting that Kremlin-backed attack groups are going after countries, governments, political parties, and media in the run-up to the European Union-wide elections, which are happening at the end of May this year. These elections are going to be a major event. Almost 300 million people across all of the EU's member states will be taking part. It's one of the biggest acts of direct democracy, I suppose you'd call it, in the world. And as we've seen from Russian actors in the past, they are quite keen to influence the results of these sorts of things and are engaged in a cyber espionage campaign, which in what appears to be a sort of some research into what they could possibly do in the run-up to these elections.
And talk about, Danny, specific tactics that they would use with spearfishing and things like that. What are we thinking that could be possible here?
It is spearfishing, which appears to be the main means of attacking or conducting these campaigns. It's a trope of the Fancy Bear hacking group, or also known as ATP28, where they will send specially crafted spearfishing emails to targets in order to try and get them to click through, in order to drop malware or give up data. Such is the extent that there goes into the effort of making these. They can make it look as if it comes from inside your own department or inside your own government organization, which is why these attacks are so worrying in a way, because it can be quite easy for even someone who is trained in spotting phishing attacks to fall victim to one of these, which is obviously what the attackers very much want. And yeah, there's no specifics on who exactly they are targeting. For the FireEye haven't given that up for operational security reasons, but it's probably safe to say there's activity across a lot of the major countries in Europe.
Yeah, so Danny, is there any specific information on the group itself, or if we've heard anything from them before, and other countries should be on alert as well with upcoming elections?
Fancy Bear are quite notorious. They're said to have links to the Kremlin itself in Moscow, and I suppose the most infamous example of how they've tried to influence an election campaign with hacks and disinformation is the US presidential election. A lot of the activity around the cyber activity, has been traced back to Fancy Bear, and they target a lot of embassies. They target a lot of different organizations throughout the world. It's the Olympic Committee is another big organization which fell victim to this. The Winter Olympics suffered an attack last year, although it's worth noting that they do tend to go after major events, but last year's Soccer World Cup did not experience any cyber attacks from Russian-backed attackers, although the reason for that would be, of course, it was in Russia, so I don't think they'd be going after people within their own nation, probably.
All right, Danny, hearing more and more of things like this, it's very concerning. We appreciate your insight on this, and for more on this particular article and cybercrime stories, you should stay with ZDNet and Tech Republic.